The following is a conversation I had with the CEO of Element United, Scott Lomu, at their headquarters in Salt Lake City, Utah. Scott was featured in the Discovery Channel's TV series Jungle Gold that focuses on the treacherous life of gold mining in Ghana. Since leaving the show, Scott has been concentrating his efforts on eliminating the negative effects of gold mining, and one way he's doing that is through the Element blockchain, where they're partnering with gold mines and creating an ecosystem around the gold in the mines, and this is accomplished by the mines pledging their gold to the Element ecosystem and in turn shutting their doors. As of right now, they have 5 mines under contract and $700 billion in assets pledged to their ecosystem. Despite this, they're still in their infancy stages, and I'm curious to learn more about the project. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Hey guys, I'm here with Scott Lomu from Element, a project that I've covered on YouTube before. I'm just going to go ahead and ask some questions. I'm sitting down with the team today. Scott, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I want to go ahead and my audience may know you talking about you on the channel before, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Scott Lomu. I'm the president of Element United. I've been in the gold mining space since 2010, and we have started this incredible blockchain idea based largely in part with my experiences firsthand in the mining community and some of the damage that's being done, and basically just trying to take advantage of this whole blockchain wave with everything now having its digital counterpart, and we are trying really hard to end a lot of the destruction that's happening in the gold mining world, but also reward those that want to be involved in it. And there's a lot of problems out there in the world, but until you create a financial incentive for people to solve those problems, a lot of those problems will remain unsolved. And so we look at a massive issue that's out there with exploitation, the humanitarian crisis, environmental crisis, corruption, and we're trying to stop some of it. Now, we're not ambitious enough to think that we can stop all these problems that exist in the mining world, but through blockchain technology, we can incentivize people to care and to be rewarded for caring, because by taking care of themselves, they're also helping other people and the environment at the same time.
And can you give just maybe an elevator pitch on what Element is doing with gold specifically?
Yeah. So we believe that gold has value. Now, people place value on gold, whether it's hidden under their bed or in a vault. We believe that gold and other elements have value when they're still in the ground. If you create a digital economy around an in-ground asset, the gold can stay in the ground without a lot of the destruction and without a lot of the problems that come along with the extraction on an environmental and a humanitarian level. And so we digitize in-ground assets, and we, through a system, I guess, that we call our digital alchemy, give value to the in-ground asset in the form of our reward that's earned by running a node. So we're not doing an ICO. We're not like some of these other companies that say, here's how many coins I have, here's how much gold is in the ground, let's attach it, therefore one coin is worth X amount of gold. We don't do that. Through the use of a node, we're able to incentivize and to get people to care and to join this ecosystem of creating a value of an in-ground asset in the form of a reward earned by running a software node.
And can you explain what that node will be doing in order to produce those daily rewards?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. We have a lot of products. In order to add value to a reward that's earned by a crypto coin, we have to have a lot of products. Some of those products are NFTs. We have a gaming division that we're doing. We're doing a blockchain verified treasure hunt. And so there's a lot of things that your node will be doing just in supporting our products, verifying transactions, verifying the transfer of crypto from one wallet to another, verifying that there's actually gold in the ground, verifying the transfer of NFTs, verifying these other products. We have a pretty long roadmap, and so we want to make sure that your node is busy. We want to make sure that there are actual transactions that your node is verifying so that you earn your reward. We don't want anybody just to turn on a node and get something for nothing. We want you to contribute. The node in our ecosystem serves a lot of different purposes, but you always have to start with, what does your node do? And it is the confirmation or the verification of all the transactions that we create within the Element ecosystem.
And can you elaborate more too on the technology that's backing Element? That it's not just Element here. There's this, I just talked with him
Yeah.
earlier. I've not talked about that yet. So can you kind of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So Element has a team of about 180 engineers that we work with from our partner company called Nerd. Nerd is, we have a new core, we call it new core, but it's this brand new blockchain technology that they've developed from scratch that supports the Element blockchain product. And we've got engineers, we've got developers, we've got just this incredible team that you were able to meet with Travis that support what we're doing and that build this technology, support it, do bug fixes. Obviously, like all technology, there's, especially new technologies, there's going to be issues with it. And so we have a support team that's dedicated specifically to Element. So within Nerd, we have our own pod that only works on the Element ecosystem, but we have access to all 180 engineers that support what we're doing. So it's not just a couple guys in their basement working on Element blockchain. We've got a 50,000 square foot facility full of the top talent in the area who support our blockchain and run this project for us.
Now, I'm a big believer that some level of competition is good. And I thought I heard you mention that there may be a competitor or some type of competitor in your space. What makes Element better than your competitor?
We have quite a few competitors. Now in the beginning you get nervous going, oh no, other people are doing this, and you get a little bit nervous. But when you look at what our competitors are doing, we're doing something completely unique. So we have quite a few out there doing something similar, but what they're doing is they are keeping the gold in the ground, but they're attaching the actual value of the coin. So they don't really run a node. They just do what's called an ICO, an initial coin offering, where let's just say they keep $1 million worth of gold in the ground, then they're going to produce coins that represent $1 million worth of gold. The reason why we don't want to do that is because our purpose is to keep the gold in the ground. Now, if you attach a coin to the value of the gold, there's some of these companies will let you redeem the coin for the physical gold that's in the ground. We don't want to pull the gold out of the ground. We're trying to solve the problems that happen when you pull that gold out of the ground. So through a node, the node is the center of our ecosystem. The node and the revenue from the node goes to help us acquire these gold mines, and you are rewarded the reward from running the node. And it's not physically attached to the gold in the ground, because why would we do that? We want the gold to stay in the ground. And so we've come up with an entire ecosystem on what can potentially give that reward value in replace of attaching it to the exact amount of gold that's in the ground. And so those are the fun things that we're working on through our gaming, through our NFTs, through, now interestingly enough, we do allow you to swap the tokens that your node is going to earn for physical gold. Now, you might say, well, Scott, that's totally counterintuitive to what you're trying to accomplish. We're not trying to stop all gold mining. We're trying to encourage good gold mining because we need the gold. If there's no mining, then everything around us ceases to exist. We don't have TVs and computers and phones because there's gold in all of these things. And so what we do is we use our node as an incentive for miners who are mining responsibly. And when they mine responsibly, they get our nodes, but they also are producing gold in a more responsible way, and we buy that gold. We buy that gold, we mint it, we stick Element's logo on it, and we allow our community to exchange the digital coin for physical gold. So we like to refer to our node as a digital pickaxe. So remember, the act of buying a node allows us to help keep the gold in the ground. Running that node is giving you a digital reward, but then you can then take that digital reward and exchange it for physical gold and silver. So we've got this cool ecosystem, but again, the bad mining, where people are being exploited, where they're using mercury, where they're destroying rivers and chopping down people's livelihood, their farms and their cocoa plants, we're trying to minimize and stop that and reward you with gold from mines that's been mined more responsibly. And so there are so many other things that go into the ecosystem, but that at a basic level is what Element is able to do through the purchase of a node. Without the purchase of the node, how do we acquire the gold mines? Where's our incentive to give to the gold miners? Where's our incentive to give to the people in these villages who, out of necessity, have to mine? They're mining to feed their kids. And so we say, let us build a better ecosystem to where you can take better care of your family without the destruction that comes from polluting your rivers and mining for gold.
So if I understand this correctly, you're getting mines to basically close their doors and pledge themselves to Element with the incentive that it's going to be more profitable for them and less risky
Yes.
for them to embark with you guys. But where is that gold coming from? So is it coming from the mines that are pledging themselves, or is it just coming from responsible miners that you deem responsible, and then do like I get a gold coin in the mail, or like how does this all work?
Okay, great question. So the gold is coming from mines that are mining under governments that require them to have, EPA certifications, and they've filed the right permits, and they're not doing anything that's too destructive. And so all mining at some point does damage to the earth. But it's part of the contract we have of being human in the 21st century. We need technology, and so we need mining because of that. And so we are trying to stop the more destructive mining, and so the gold comes from mines who have been incentivized by Element to make sure they're minimizing their environmental footprint, they're doing things sustainably. There's a whole list of things that we require from them in order for us to buy their gold that they've sourced responsibly. And that allows us to then stop the more destructive mining that's doing a lot of damage to a lot of people.
Perfect. And I want to know too, what's this like in terms of getting mines on board? Is this like really hard, or do you guys have quite a few mines right now?
Yeah. Now, we thought the hardest part of this entire thing would be to get these owners of mines to commit, basically to pledge their in-ground assets to the Element blockchain. To our shock and our pleasure, it's been the easiest part. The easiest part of this entire thing is being able to get these mines to say, all right, we will stop mining. We will not mine this mine that we were planning on mining in exchange for Element nodes, cash, or a combination of both. And we're able to do that because of this ecosystem that we've built, because the node generates cash and it generates a reward for that gold miner. And so if you're a gold miner and you've got all these issues that come along with gold mining, whether it's the investment, the risk, the danger, all of the issues that gold miners have, and somebody were to come to you and say, hey, there's a better way. How about we give you these nodes that issue a reward, and in some cases cash as well, to not mine or to stop mining? They've done the math in their head and they thought, this is a much easier way. It's great for us because we just give them nodes, and it's good for some of these miners because there's the potential, and of course we don't make any promises on we don't ever say in a contract, here's what you're going to make. We say there's potential. And because of that potential, it's easier for them to not mine and to roll the dice with us to see what comes of this Element ecosystem that we're creating through the reward produced by the node. And that has been easier. As of today, we have over 700 billion with a B in in-ground assets pledged. We just sent out a press release yesterday, pledged to the Element ecosystem. Now that's mind-boggling, right? We don't even like to say the number because it's a ridiculous number. And we have miners coming at us from everywhere. In fact, we met with a mining group yesterday, and we were the third company that's digitizing in-ground assets that had approached them. So this is a concept that's taking off. This isn't something that we made up. We were one of the first, but this is a concept that's really taking off because people see that you can create a value out of an in-ground asset. But back to the question, that's the easy part. Getting these miners on board. We've got dozens of people that we can talk to now. Not only that, but governments are interested in talking with us. We have heads of state. We have high-level government officials that want us to come in, because think about what's happening. These governments have outside influence. They have, countries that are coming in to exploit them and to mine their gold, and they're allowing it to happen because there's some sort of revenue from that. But what if they could keep the gold in the ground, make sure their people aren't being exploited, but still get some sort of value out of that? And so we have some announcements coming down in the next few weeks that are really mind-blowing as far as who wants to talk to Element about this process of digitizing in-ground assets. It is presidents of countries, it is high-level officials from Central America, Africa, all over the place, that people interested in talking about what we can do for them. So it's exciting stuff. And everything's moving this way. We didn't invent this, right? Everything's moving this way. We just saw a need. And because we had so many of the pieces in place with amazing technology, we're debt-free, we've got all these smart people in place, we thought, let's go solve some problems, but we can't do it without the node community. This can't be done on our own. We have to get everybody involved in this and create a win-win. Because when somebody has a node, they want to know, first and foremost, what does this do for me? And then the ancillary benefits are, oh, you mean I'm helping marginalized communities, helping end corruption, and helping those people who are in a tough spot. It does all of these things. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned that it's moving this way, and that's one of my biggest passions with blockchain is just betting on what will the ultimate use case be. Do you see with these competitors, whether there's, like you said, they're popping up, and I'm sure this is happening across multiple spaces, but do you think that there's a world where, let's say in 2030, where there are multiple companies that digitize gold assets, similar to like how there's Samsung and Apple? Do you think there's only room for one?
No,
what's your take on that?
No, I don't think so. Now, you will see, and some of your community members who are familiar with some of the other companies, some of our competitors, you'll see that some of them are already in trouble. You'll see that if you don't have all the pieces in place and you try to do things that aren't honest, you're going to pay a price for it. I won't mention any names, but they're easy to find. And it's people making stuff up about what they actually have digitized, what gold is committed. They're making it up. Like ours are all under contract. We'll be very open book with everybody about what we have. But I hope, back to the bigger question, I hope there are other competitors out there. It makes for competition is a good thing. Nobody wants to have a monopoly on anything, because then it's not fair to the individual consumer. And so competition is healthy. There's enough gold and other elements out there that need to be digitized. And so we encourage competition. We study our competition. We look at what they're doing and think about how we can do it better and help more people. And some people don't have the environmental side of it. Some people don't have the humanitarian side of it. Most of them don't have the node side of it. We grab all those and put them all into one so that there is benefit to more people and a greater net benefit to the person who's running the node for us and participating in this blockchain. Getting into blockchain is difficult because people don't understand it. The easiest way is a software node. Download a software node, plug in your computing power into our blockchain, help us solve some problems, and be rewarded at the same time.
And you mentioned some of those dishonest companies, and the thing is with DeFi is that, it's decentralized, right? Yeah. Yet there's so many institutions that are popping up where we're basically trusting our funds with an institution. Mm-hmm. And I guess what's stopping either Element or the miners that are pledging with Element to not mine those assets behind the investor's back? What are the safety measures there that prevent that from happening?
So that's a great question, and if you go look up my TV show.
And the rest of this interview will be made available right here on my other channel, Better Blockchain, a channel entirely dedicated to sitting down with founders and having conversations like these. The video will be right here.